About 29 years ago, a film had spent all the time and money to create a video game movie about two plumbers, a princess, a Koopa, and dinosaurs in live action. These events created a downward spiral of failure at the box office. Audience had claimed it to be the worst video game adaptation of a film ever made. The film was so jarring, strange, and overall awful. But it is now 2023, and if you told me that Chris Pratt was playing Mario in a brand new Super Mario Bros. Movie made by Illumination, I'd laugh in your face and sit down and weep in confusion. Then accept this as my life, since this might be a mediocre movie or a bad one. So I watched this film, and let me tell you, this exceeded my expectations. Well, I set a relatively low expectation, not out of spite, but for the safety of my eyes, if the film wasn't to be taken seriously or relegated to forgetting the source material. I'm honestly happy with the outcome of this movie. It was a fun film and I had a great time, so I wanted to take the time to share my thoughts on this film. Now, this is all spoiler heavy, so please watch the film, then come back to see this video. Alright, so let's start with the main announcement that set this movie in stone. During the Nintendo Direct, we were given an announcement from Shigeru Miyamoto that he was working alongside Illumination to create a Super Mario movie. Finally, it would be cool to get a Mario movie alongside the creator so they can overlook the process and get every detail down with a T. Cause we know how Nintendo is about its characters in video games. Isn't that right for the people that got copyright striked? Exactly. Anyways, a few months went by, we finally got our cast for the film. Let me just say, they got the perfect role for Luigi and Bowser. So I was going to watch it because I'm a sucker for Jack Black and Nacho Libre. We had our release date, and we finally had our teaser for the film. I adored the animation right from the get-go during this time, and Jack Black sounded impressive as Bowser. So when we heard Chris Pratt, I was still skeptical about this choice. But in my head, I just let it be, as I thought, it's not going to be that bad. I'll get used to it eventually. Now, fast forward to the theaters. The moment I sat down when the movie began, I already had a big smile. The opening intro with the 8-bit form of Mario and Luigi revealing the Nintendo logo with the original Mario Bros. Music made me feel so happy. At that moment, I felt like this movie was going to do something good. The moment the film introduced Bowser was already so good, showing the threat, the Koopa troops, and how good they all look. The animation was the most beautiful and fitting part of this movie. It uses these natural materials and textures that remind me of Mario Odyssey and the cartoon Squash and Stretch. I adored the amount of effort and care that was put into these designs. The way everything looked in the Mushroom Kingdom looked spectacular. I loved the entire Mushroom Kingdom. The castle, Bowser's flying fortress, and his wedding outfit, the Kong Kingdom, and the whole structures and carts looked really good. Rainbow Road is iconic as ever, so it all works out in this movie. However, when we got to the real world with Mario and Luigi, I knew this was just the 1993 Super Mario movie, but better. I mean, the more you think about it, it needed a way to establish the point of our characters and the fact that they're plumbers. By the way, I will refer to the world Mario and Luigi live as the real world and the rest just the Mushroom Kingdom for less confusion. It also goes into my next point that the real world uses Illumination's characters mixed with Nintendo-made characters. To me, it seemed odd how they put Illumination characters next to the Mario Brothers. Then there are the countless Nintendo references and cameos that are seen almost everywhere in this film. I don't know about you, I imagined how putting Mario in the real world mixed with Nintendo's IPs would have looked like, and honestly, I like this version. To others, this is probably a commercial that is around 90 minutes, but at least we have a story, and I'll go over that later. But this is how my childhood self would have expected to look like if this movie had come out when I was younger. In a way, the aesthetic of the Mushroom Kingdom combines all recent Mario games, power-ups, designs, pipes, and character designs. It's like a massive celebration of the Mario games put into this one film. The music was made perfectly. It's how I imagined the scenes to mix so well with the soundtrack, except when they added licensed music. I can go an entire film without having Take On Me replace an absolute Donkey Kong Country theme masterpiece. The overworld theme mixed with different Super Mario themes in the Mushroom Kingdom, and the Mario Kart 8 music when they go make their carts, Luigi's Mansion music when Luigi gets separated from Mario, even the underground theme. But yes, we got Jack Black rocking as Bowser in his banger song. This was absolutely perfect, although I was sad it was kinda short. Nintendo wanted to ensure Bowser was still in character, plus it's not a Disney movie or a musical. I enjoyed everything featured, cameoed like with Charles Martinet, and stylized for the film. The cast of characters was really well made for this film as a whole and carried it well. Mario wasn't bad, and Chris Pratt did a great job. He didn't take away from the movie, he did perfectly fine. He even did an Italian accent, and the film addresses this, while Charles Martinet gives a nice cameo to support it. The way they made Mario fits well with his overall appearance. He's bold and protective of his brother and stands up against bullies, given his size, which he gets made fun of. He doesn't give up, and that part of his trait shines through the film. Now, I would have loved to at least see more of Luigi. He had a perfect voice actor to portray him, but I would have liked to see him get more involved and grow more as a character. I don't mean he also has to be the protagonist, but seeing the development where he gets his courage to help Mario in the end would have made a more significant difference to me. Also, knowing his capabilities in the Mushroom Kingdom, like with Mario, could have hinted more of their knowledge and know-how that could combine the climax of the superstar. Peach worked well in this film, changing the dynamic and not being the constant damsel in distress. But I like these new changes, so long as they don't mess with the film, somehow. Her past fascinated me as she must have originated in the real world too. She wasn't born with royalty either and earned that title alone. I love this take on her as she has a kind heart for the Toads and her kingdom and goes to ensure they are safe and at peace. Donkey Kong was actually funny. I must admit that he made me laugh a few times, and it's not because of Seth Rogen's laugh. Okay, maybe it was, but he had some excellent lines and insults thrown at Mario, which makes sense given the type of history and rivalry they have in games. The DK rap was a perfect choice for this film, and his appearance was really good and still faithful to the source material. Bowser was a great villain in this movie. He had a lot of cool and funny moments that worked well with his overarching goals. He even has some of his sound effects or voice clips from the games, which makes me adore those small details. His soundtrack from Bowser's Fury was even added to this film, which astonished me that they used it, and I'm absolutely for it. Also, Bowser playing piano just works for me. I don't know why, but I ain't complaining. Toad was an alright character. I saw him as the sidekick of the film, which makes sense, but he wasn't just for comic relief. He acted like a bodyguard for the princess, which is admirable. I enjoyed that he wasn't careless and enjoyed the quest for adventure. Cranky Kong didn't feel or sound like Cranky Kong to me. I don't know why. I would have been down for the version from the 90s Donkey Kong show of Cranky. It just works for me. He was actually cranky and possessed knowledge of certain things. This Cranky just didn't work that much. Finally, we got to see the Mario Brothers family for the first time. I loved them so much, and I enjoyed that they were all together at the family dinner conversing. We have a sense of their types of personalities, where they fit in the family, and how they affect the Mario Brothers in their journey in life and in the Mushroom Kingdom. I know almost everyone you know has expressed this, but I agree that the plot is simple. It adapts to the games really well, even when it revolves around the story of the Mario Brothers against Bowser. It doesn't make matters complex. It's a straightforward story to follow, especially for a younger audience. It doesn't dive too deep into the past lives of each character, but tells you what you need to know, and we could start the film from there. Bowser finds a superstar and will use it to take over the Mushroom Kingdom and make Peach his wife in his grand scheme, while the Mario Brothers follow their dream to become plumbers. They address the outfits and gloves to stand out and have an iconic look compared to any other plumbing business. I have to give them credit. They know how to advertise, even when they spend their life savings on it. Unfortunately, after getting a call for a job, it goes horribly wrong after an incident with one of their client's dogs that tries to attack them, as they continue to run into more problems. That's how we get to know the brothers and how they feel stuck at rock bottom. Soon the Mario Bros see a situation that looks like they could fix, but instead they get transported to another world and get separated. Mario must find Luigi from here and help the Mushroom Kingdom against Bowser. That's about it. Nothing is more simple and straightforward than that. It ultimately works, and everything in the Mushroom Kingdom happens at face value. It doesn't tell you how everything works, because people know what Super Mario is and what the power-ups do. So it makes the movie more enjoyable and doesn't take away from the characters. It works in that world, and that's all you need to know. While the rest of the film follows our cast and discovers how they will overcome the challenges ahead and what type of struggles they will encounter, who joins the party, and how will they defeat Bowser. So in conclusion, this film is excellent, and I had a blast with everything visually and how the film looked and sounded. I couldn't get my head around the critic scores. I was baffled to say the least that they gave poor reviews about it. The film was great, so why was there so much disapproval of it? It's a kids movie and it's made for all ages. So it goes without saying that this wouldn't be anything like The Dark Knight or the Avatar films, and it's fine the way it is. It's not a perfect movie, but it still did the job to appeal to wider audiences, and that's it. I can also see this becoming a new trend for video games getting a movie from here on out after the success of the film. It's like how Marvel first made the MCU movies, and they haven't stopped since then. So I can see video game movies or TV series happening more often. I'm unsure what else will be adapted, but I swear it better be good and faithful to the source material. I ain't gonna keep watching things that just don't work.